Music plays, we invite you just to close your eyes, relax, rest in the presence, and hold space.
Ganapataye namo namaha. Ganapataye namo namaha. Ganapataye namo namaha. Jai Ganesha Gananatha Dayaniti Sakala Vignya Karadura Hamare. Jai Ganesha Gananatha Dayaniti Sakala Vignya Karadura Hamare. Ganapataye namo namaha. 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 Omega Dantaya Vidmahi Vakratundaya Dhimahi Tanno Danti Prachodayat. Ganapataye namo namaha. 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 Jai Ganesha Gananatha Dayaniti Sakala Vignya Karadura Hamare. Jai Ganesha Gananatha Dayaniti Sakala Vignya Karadura Hamare. Ganapataye namo namaha. 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 Om Vakratundaya Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvigyam Kuru Me Deva Sara Karyeshu Sarvada. Ganapataye namo namaha. Ganapataye namo namaha. Gam Ganapataye Namo Namaha. Gam Ganapataye Namo Namaha. Gam Ganapataye Namo Namaha. Jai Ganesha Gananata Dayaniti Sakala Vignya Karadura Hamari. Jai Ganesha Gananata Dayaniti Sakala Vignya Karadura Hamari. Gam Ganapataye Namo Namaha. 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 Shuklam Bharadram Vishnu Sasivarnam Chaturvujam Prasannavadaram Dhyaye Sarvavignyopashantaye. Gam Ganapataye Namo Namaha. Gam Ganapataye Namo Namaha. Gam Ganapataye Namo Namaha. Gam Ganapataye Namo Namaha. Gam Ganapataye Namo Jai Ganesha Gananata Dayaniti Sakala Vignya Karadura Hamari. Jai Ganesha Gananata Dayaniti Sakala Vignya Karadura Hamari. Gam Ganapataye Namo Namaha. 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 Gam Ganapataye
Namaste.
Namaste.
Welcome to our weekly online satsang. Satsang means basically spiritual community, literally community of truth. Wherever two or more people on the path of truth, awakening and transformation come together to share their journeys, there's a satsang. It's very strengthening. It's an important part of our spiritual practice, is to join together with others and share what we're experiencing, be it positive, uplifting, or if we're going through challenges or problems, to share with one another and support one another is so important. So glad you're here tonight. We live on a planet that is very much in need of awakening. Humanity has been stuck in competition, conflict, and war for all of our known history. It's time to graduate to cooperation, harmony, and peace. That requires the flowering of the heart on a collective level, which happens one person at a time. That's you and me, and that's why we're here. We share during these webcast satsangs what we call the Flowering Heart Blessing, which is a direct transmission of awakened consciousness and divine grace. And since it's grace, it's free, freely given, freely received, a gift from the divine. And if you like it, and we're sure you do or you will, you're soaking in it right now. If you'd like to share this with others as an instrument of divine grace, just express that intention to the presence. That's all. And then you can, if someone's in your physical presence, get their informed consent, because this will change their world, and lay your hands lightly on top of their head, very, very lightly, and just let the divine come through and get out of the way. Well, how do you let the divine come through? Just hold the intent. Ask the divine to pour the Flowering Heart Blessing through you, and you don't need to say that out loud at all. And then just step back, and the divine does it all. We're just instruments, really. So it's a very beautiful thing. The Flowering Heart Blessing catalyzes awakening. It dissolves blocks and impediments on the journey of awakening. If you're already awakened, it'll take you deeper. It focuses in the heart, which is so important, because sooner or later, it comes to the heart. No matter what we experience out there, the outer world is a reflection of the inner world. And sooner or later, we're invited to look within and dive into the core, the center of our being, and there discover that what we were looking for was there all along. Your true sacred self is the divine itself, dwelling within you at the center of your being. It is already enlightenment itself, the divine presence, and it's the divine presence, so it's as one with the divine as you could possibly get, awaiting our discovery. And when we make contact with that at the center of our being, which is what the flowering heart helps us to do and releases in us, it just begins to flower like a lotus flower opening or a star going supernova. The light just begins to pour out of the center of our being through all the layers, spirit, soul, body, through the deepest spiritual layers where awakening is experienced, the soul layer, which is where the thoughts and the programs and the charges and the emotions and all the stuff that needs to be cleared and reordered is. And it shines through our physical bodies, bringing healing and transformation at a physical level, into our relationships, healing them, transforming them, and through all of that into the outer world, making us beacons of light and hope and transformation for everyone around us. So it's a pretty good thing. We invite you to share the Flowering Heart Blessing throughout the webcast. Just hold that intention and let it flow through you to all the people who are with us tonight and to those who will be viewing in the days ahead, because many, many times more people will view the webcast of this satsang between tonight and next Monday night. News. This coming Sunday is our monthly interfaith communion with the Cosmic Christ. The Cosmic Christ is that aspect of the divine that's pure unconditional love and healing and compassion, that embodied in Jesus of Nazareth 2,000 years ago. But the cosmic Christ is that spark of love and divinity and the blueprint for transformation that is at the center of all things. It has always existed and will always exist. And so we focus on that in these monthly interfaith communions. We call it interfaith because everyone's invited. Whatever your faith or spiritual tradition may be or not be, this is an opportunity to join with us and experience a very special aspect of the divine, the Christ. More and more people, regardless of the spiritual path they're on these days, are experiencing Christ consciousness. Because as I was sharing, that for the world to come through its current crisis and the new world to be birthed, there needs to be a flowering of the heart. And that's really Christ consciousness. When we flower forth from the heart in pure unconditional love and connection and oneness with the divine and with all that is. So I think you'd really enjoy it. You can come in person if you happen to be in Clearwater, Florida, right here at the Flowering Heart Center. These are usually on the last Sunday of the month at 11 a.m. 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time these days. Maury was saying, I'm here, I made it. It gets harder when the time changes. And I was thinking, but your time doesn't change, but ours does, which means we're starting an hour later in your part of the world. Sorry, what can you do? We wish they'd stop doing that too, honestly. Almost none of us like time change here, and it's a relic from the past. Anyway, the message, the meditation on Sunday, I spend a lot of time in meditation and prayer to hear what the Spirit, what the Divine Presence is saying to the community. And this one's going to be focused on the prayer of faith, door to miracles. There's a lot of talk about faith. There's a lot of talk about prayer. But I'm not sure that most of us know much about either of those things. And people have been asking me recently, teach us to pray. And there's so many different kinds of prayer, but the prayer of faith is the one that opens the door to miracles, all kinds of divine intervention and healing and transformation. So I think you would benefit from it. If you can join us, do. It'll be live online here on Facebook Live, Vimeo, LinkedIn, or the recording will be archived right here on our Facebook page and also at Vimeo, and you can watch it at any time you have an opportunity. Anything else we should be sharing?
Like or love?
Huh?
Likes or loves?
Likes or loves. Go ahead.
If you're watching tonight, please drop us a like or a love on Facebook, because we like to go in and see who we had watching and reconnect, and it just helps us connect on a deeper level. If you haven't entered anything, there's a cascade.
And I love the cascading hearts. Yes, that's
heart
sweet.
Bubbles,
That's
love
sweet.
bubbles. That's what.
Oh, I see some of our friends already. So we like to open it after sort of whatever announcements we have to share, and the meditation at the beginning. It's really good to get here, if you can, at 9 o'clock our time, when the music is playing and we're just being in the silence. Waiting in the presence in silence is one of the most profound kinds of prayer you could possibly engage in. And silence is the original language of the divine. I wear the Om because this is the representation of the divine as sound vibration that manifested all that exists. Before that was silence. And so much happens when we take time to just be in silence together. But if you didn't make it when we did that, we were in silence for you. So just soak it up. Then we like to open it to questions and answers about the spiritual journey, about awakening, about divine union, meditation, the spirit world, past, future, life, any questions that might be sort of lingering in your consciousness where you'd like some more clarification, some more light. then throw them out. Well, it'll help all of us. And before I dive into those, to give everybody a little time to ask if you have a question to share that might spark the conversation, I like to read some wise quotes from a website called inspiringquotes.com. And this one is an article and a number of quotes giving us wise advice about being your authentic self. There are a number of authors that compile these quotes and little articles that go with it. Tonight, this was compiled by Christina Wright, a coffee-fueled writer. My kind of lady. A coffee-fueled writer living happily ever after with her family in the suburbs of Richmond, Virginia. So thank you for this, Christina. Appreciate it. And here's the introduction she gives. Be yourself is a familiar and ancient refrain. The idea of living an authentic life has been a topic for philosophers and psychologists for millennia. Lao Tzu, the 6th century before Christian era Chinese philosopher behind Taoism, tells us in the Tao Te Ching, quote, knowing others is wisdom. Knowing oneself is enlightenment. More recently, research has reinforced the long-held idea that people who follow their own path in life have deeper, more meaningful relationships and are more resilient to external pressures or rejection. Authenticity may very well be the key to living a happy and fulfilling life. But how do we achieve it? Living our truth starts with self-awareness, knowing who we are and what we want. It's an understanding that can evolve throughout our lives, prompting us to regularly reconsider our passions, priorities, and values, even when that means resisting the comfort of conformity. Comfort of conformity? Ouch. Understood. Across the ages, writers, artists, scientists, and leaders have offered their wisdom about what it means to live authentically, leaving little doubt that being true to yourself is worth the introspection and effort it takes to get there. In her seminal poem, The Summer Day, Pulitzer Prize-winning poet Mary Oliver asks, tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? As the following quotes attest, there may be no better answer than simply be myself. There we go. To be nobody but yourself. In a world which is doing its best night and day to make you everybody else, means to fight the hardest battle which any human being can fight and never stop fighting. E.E. Cummings. There's power in allowing yourself to be known and heard, in owning your unique story, in using your authentic voice. Michelle Obama. Young people searching for their real self must learn that the real self is not something one finds as much as it is something one makes. And it is one's daily actions that shape the inner personality far more permanently than any amount of introspection or intellection. Interesting. Sidney J. Harris. Don't compromise yourself. You're all you've got. Janis Joplin. This, above all, to thine own self be true. William Shakespeare. The authentic self is the soul made visible. Sarah Ban Brethnar. Weirdness is what sets us apart, gets us hired. Be your unapologetically weird self. In fact, being weird may even find you the ultimate happiness. Chris Sacca. In order for connection to happen, we have to allow ourselves to be seen, really seen. Brene Brown. The privilege of a lifetime is being who you are. Joseph Campbell. Knowing who we are is hard. Eliminate who we're not first, and we'll find ourselves where we need to be. Matthew McConaughey. It's very important that we pursue truth in our artwork. You change the world by being yourself. Yoko Ono. The real religion is not imitation of anybody else. It is a search to find out your own authentic self, who you are. Rajneesh, also known to many of you as Osho. Be who you were created to be, and you will set the world on fire. Saint Catherine of Siena. Only the truth of who you are, if realized, will set you free. Eckhart Tolle. I've always done whatever I want and always been exactly who I am. Billie Eilish. We are constantly invited to be what we are, as to something worthy and noble. Henry David Thoreau. Accept right now that you are magnificent. Being your real, true, authentic self is what's most awesome about you. Gabby Bernstein. No matter what, people are going to like you or not like you. So be authentic and let them like you or not for who you actually are. Kobe Bryant. Your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. Steve Jobs. If you're always trying to be normal, you will never know how amazing you can be. Maya Angelou.
Those are great. That's a great reminder too, coming up on the holidays and spending time with family and friends and realizing that, you know, the more authentic that we can be, the deeper our relationships can unfold. And people can feel it if you're not being authentic. They can feel that, you know, you're uncomfortable or that something's off or you're faking something, faking an emotion. And it's a vibrational thing. So it's good going into the holidays to reflect on being your authentic self, because that's where the heart can really shine. That's where, you know, the emotions from the heart come and where we can really connect with people at a deeper level, even people that we didn't think that we could connect with.
Yeah.
The more authentic we are, the more at ease other people will be with us.
And as Kobe Bryant said, if they're going to like you or not like you, regardless of
Right.
anything you do,
Right.
so just be yourself, and they'll like you or not like you. But it removes all that tension of trying to live up to. I like this one that said, weirdness is what sets us apart, gets us hired. Be your unapologetically weird self. Doing that, you may find the ultimate happiness. My parents raised me that weird was good. It comes from a word, without getting to word roots, Weird means human. Like werewolf, same word, a human wolf. Weirdness is to just be human. It's so funny that it's come to mean being weird. And the last one said, if you're trying to be normal, you're never going to realize how amazing you are. Maya Angelou, I think.
Yeah.
Was. And, one of my heroes in existential psychology was a guy named R.D. Laing. Without explaining anything too much about him, he said that our concept of sanity is based upon normality. It's like we've got a curve, and here in the fringes is weirdness, and here at the top, the most people is normal. And he said, honestly, if the normal person is our measure of sanity today, we're in a lot of trouble. So, yeah, I like this. Very nice. Okay. Alrighty then. Oh, what did I do? I'll get it back. There we go. Okay, so Yogi Bhadrapala wrote, Namaste from Texas. I am expressing my deepest, sincere gratitude for all you do with your oneness flowering heart. Grateful for all things. Grateful also in all things. Yes, that's the key. Finding gratitude for the silver lining of situations that appear to be bad. There's a blessing in all things. A situation that appears negative, I can turn it around and realize that it is happening for my growth, my good, all in one cosmic, healing, loving energy. Om Shanti.
Very beautiful.
Well said. I like the subtle thing you said, that I'm grateful for all things, comma, grateful also in all things. There are situations where you can't find gratitude for that really horrible thing that's happening. I can think of a couple on earth any day. But we can be grateful in any situation. Grateful to be alive, grateful to be conscious, grateful to be loved and to be loved. Go ahead, you had something, I think.
Oh yeah, we were contemplating this week Thanksgiving and family and all the busyness at this time of year. But then we were talking about it, and something came on the radar about saying happy birthday. And it struck me, I was like, what if I woke up every morning and just expressed happy birthday and send love, light, blessings, and prayers to everybody's birthday all around the world on that individual day? And then we talked about it a little bit deeper, and it's like, well, why just birthdays? Why don't we just, wish happy birthday to anything and everything that is being created in this day? And that goes down to new cells in our body. It goes to leaves on the trees and flowers and birds and eggs and, everything in nature, everything all the time, everywhere. So that's been my meditation the last few days. When I get up, I express my gratitude and do my gratitude prayers that I usually do and ask to be a blessing. And then I say that simple little prayer of, happy birthday to anything and everything being created today. And that can even go back to, healing of relationships with ancestors. It could be expressing that gratitude for what will be created. So there's no time and space. It's not just today, but it's been a deeper meditation for me, and it's made me look at things very differently. It's been fun. So I really like what you wrote.
Indeed. Thanks. So More writes, Hi. I started a homeopathy treatment. Do you know about it? Yes, a little.
Oh, about homeopathy? Yeah.
Certainly.
I love it. It's my go-to.
I first experienced homeopathy when I was living in Guadalajara, Mexico. there was much more homeopathy going on, I discovered in Latin America. For one thing, it's a lot cheaper than allopathic medicine. Allopathic medicine is medicine that treats the symptom. Homeopathic medicine introduces a tiny, I mean, infinitesimally almost small amount of the pathogen itself. And the body responds. I mean, it's not troubling. It's such a small amount. It doesn't really trouble the body, and your immune system and your body kicks in the answer to that pathogen. So for some people, homeopathic medicine works brilliantly. And now, over the last 50 years, I've seen it gain much more ground, I think, in the United States. I think naturopathy probably always used homeopathy to some degree. But that's how it works. So allopathic medicine, you got a symptom, we're going to give you something to suppress that symptom. Homeopathy, we're going to give you something that's going to just make your body just release that disease in a really gentle way. And it is a lot less expensive than allopathic medicine. It's much less damaging and stressful on the body. I guess I shouldn't be saying these things because I'm not a medical doctor, but I'm also not dumb. So homeopathy's great.
It is great. When you finished?
Yeah, go ahead.
When I was in my early 20s, I got a urinary tract infection. I'd never had one before and didn't know what to do. And I went to the doctors and they gave me sulfa antibiotics. And I took them and I broke out in hives all over my ribs because I didn't know that I was allergic to it. I'd never taken them before. Right. And I was just burning. And I was young and I was working and not making much money and didn't have health insurance. And so I had gone to an urgency care clinic and I didn't want to go back to that clinic again. So I went into a health food store. And they had these little bottles of homeopathic medicine that was for urinary tract infection and bladder infections. It was called cantharsis. And I took it as soon as I got out of the store, and within 15 minutes, all of my symptoms disappeared. And I didn't need to take any antibiotics. I did go get some cranberry juice and, did a little bit of a cleanse, but I was amazed at how quickly it worked and how much better I felt in such a short period of time. So
it's almost instantaneous.
I know. So I kept taking it for a few days just to make sure that it was clear. But after that, when I had kids, I always use homeopathic medicine with them. The teething tablets that they've got are a godsend. You put 2 or 3 of them under their tongue and they dissolve instantly. They're very fine. They're not like the hard ones. And I carried them in my purse with me. I would not have them on me, or not have them on me anytime I went somewhere with the kids when they were teething. So there's so many uses for it. It's really, really amazing. Good stuff.
Good stuff. So Michelle, Caroline, hi loves.
Hi love.
And all the rest of you lovely people. Danny and Joanne. Yekaterina has a question. Can the witchcraft evil eye or bad vibes from others can really hurt us? I'm going to say you, Yekaterina, cannot be hurt by the evil eye because I take authority over it in the divine name. So there you go. And I invite angels to protect you. Now, having said that, yeah, what's called the evil eye can. And I know what you're talking about, actually, because probably, I've lived in various places in Latin America, but I first encountered that kind of dark magic in Mexico. Sorry, I love Mexico, but yeah. And the brujos and brujas, some of them in Mexico can be quite dark. I would go into the marketplace and some of them had captive, big, beautiful eagles or owls or animals that should not be in captivity, animals that have power, and they keep them enslaved to draw on their animal power. And some of those people, I learned, I'd walk by and show them just a mild interest and weird feeling about what they were doing, and I could feel the evil eye come. And when I first encountered it, this was 50 years ago, it actually made me sick. I instantly got a headache. I began to get sick. I don't like connecting, and I'm going to, before I forget this, witchcraft with the evil eye.
Right.
Often in popular culture, witchcraft is used as a sort of derogatory name for black magic. Actually, witchcraft is the spiritual craft of Wiccans. And Wiccans, the Wiccan read is, "And ye do no harm, do as ye will." I'm not preaching witchcraft here, but I've had good friends for so many years who are Wiccans. And they have a different point of view on some things, but I share because my roots were in Taoism, which is very rooted in nature and very shamanic. Anyway, I just want to say that, you know, Wicca is sort of a beautiful spiritual path for many people. And again, the rule, do no harm. And then there's a great deal of freedom to express creativity and desire and not to feel guilty and suppress yourself, but all of that is mediated between do no harm. St. Augustine had another way of putting it. He said, love and do as you will. He said, if you put love first and everything is through the prism of love, then you can let your free will express itself. Okay, back to the evil eye. We're talking about a kind of spirituality that evolved combining indigenous elements, missionary Catholicism, and Yoruba, Santeria, Macumba, Condomble, that stuff, which is part of a legitimate spiritual path from Africa that's called Yoruba. And I've had a number of friends over the years that have been Yorubans, and they were cool. But a lot of the displaced people who were brought over in slavery and oppression to the Western Hemisphere brought with them their Yoruban spirituality, but they were being very oppressed and abused and enslaved. And so some of the more darker elements became expressed that people here know as voodoo and Santeria, and I could, you know, there are different names for it in different cultures in the Americas. Mexico has a unique blend, I think, of brujeria. And so people that practice black magic like that can give you what's called the evil eye, or release a negative intention to do you harm. Now, if you are abiding in the light of God, you are safe, okay? But when we're just learning about these things, we may inadvertently open ourselves to an inauspicious intention from a black practitioner. And yes, it's very real. It can hurt you, and just bind it. And you know, if you're a Christian, do it in the name of Jesus, but do it in the divine name, whatever your tradition is, and take authority over the darkness and just say, I bind that. You cannot hurt me. Don't do it in front of the sorcerer. Wait till you're a few steps, you know, out of sight, and stop that. You can also invite divine beings, angels. In the Hebrew scriptures, and it continues in the Christian tradition, it says that the Lord will give his angels charge over you to keep you in all your ways, to guard you. They will bear you up in their hands lest you dash your foot against a stone. And it says no evil will befall you and no plague will come near your dwelling. So that's Psalm 91. It's a very powerful psalm that anyone can use. You don't have to be Jewish or Christian, really. There's a story where I forget his rank, captain or something, during World War I, where there was all this trench warfare, and oh, it's just so horrible. This guy had his troop every morning when they woke up. He had given them copies, recite the 91st Psalm together, which I just quoted a little part of angelic protection, how the Lord will guard you and keep you. And the story is that they did not lose one soldier during all the trench warfare that they fought in World War I. That's not so amazing to me. It makes perfect sense. So, yeah, but if you keep your eye single on the presence, your whole body is filled with light. And if your body's filled with light, well, the rest of you is too. You're going to be fine. And the light, the light shined in darkness, and the darkness could not overcome it. I mean, light is supreme. When you go into a dark room, you don't need to pull out, oh, I bind this and I bind that, and here's my sword of truth. And I mean, some of that stuff is fun to express your intention. I mean, cleansing like with sage or incense, blessed water. There's so many ways you can consecrate a space, but the principle is this: when you come into a dark room and it's a little scary, you don't curse the darkness. You don't bind the darkness. You turn on the light. So the number one way to deal with anything that's perceived to be from the darkness is to invoke the presence, to turn your heart to the light and open the door. And when darkness is nothing but a shadow, the absence of light. When the light comes on, no more darkness.
It doesn't have to be somebody that's practicing magic either. I got deposed a couple of years ago for a lawsuit. I don't know why they picked me, because I knew like the least amount of what was going on. And it was 3 hours long, and I just kept saying, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know. And he started to get more and more aggressive. And I noticed that when he was about 4 feet away from me, when I noticed if I'd lean forward to rest on the table, I could feel his energy field. I could feel his aura being really aggressive and bullying. I had to keep sitting back, and every time I went to the bathroom, I'd do some drops of rescue remedy under my tongue. I think I went through half a bottle in those 3 hours. But it was really interesting, because I was like, most people don't understand how much our auras can affect another person. And so I had to really keep my space really just, filled with light, because he was being very energetically aggressive. And I thought, wow, that's kind of like the new style in courtrooms and stuff, and how bullies operate and things like that. So it is, like Michael said, very important to keep our hearts very focused on the divine and be filled with that light. That's really the only way, that and rescue remedy, that I got through those 3 hours. Yeah.
I had a friend, one of my early witch friends, like 50 plus years ago. And she had not realized that she had powers. I was probably an intergenerational thing, but she didn't know she had power until someone was really insulting and mean and nasty to her and was leaving her apartment. And she said, well, don't fall down the stairs.
Oh dear.
And she did. And that's when she realized the power of words and intention, because she said don't fall, but in her heart, she meant fall. And she immediately began to take responsibility for her intentions, her thoughts, her words, and discovered that she had been endowed with power that she was just discovering, and that it needed to be do no harm.
Yes.
So Yogi writes, so cool, I thought I was the only one who greets everyone every day with a happy birthday. Happy birthday, I'm in love with life, and life is in love with me. Today's my birthday. Reborn, renew in the experience of, this is white, in the expression of the universe expressing through me as me. Happy birthday.
That's great.
Moray said thank you. Yekaterina said thanks for that. Jennifer writes, my screen is just really acting.
Jumping around.
Jumping all over, not letting me scroll. Here we go. No questions from me this evening, but do want to share that once again, I believe we were divinely protected from what would have otherwise been a catastrophic car accident. That we keep being spared in these circumstances gives me hope that we have some as yet unfinished purpose during this lifetime. Now, many of us have had these near-death brushes, and there's no way to explain it other than that whatever we're here for, it's not done. And the divine is helping us not kill ourselves in the meantime.
We have a member of our community that had a stroke a few years ago, and he comes to our satsangs regularly. And he's better now. He's got almost full motion, and he, a few months ago, got in a car accident, and his car was literally just flipped over on its side. They had a hard time getting him out. But he said during the experience, he felt, even before the car, he knew that it was going to hit him, he felt like these hands on him. And as he was being flipped over, he felt something push him in the opposite direction, which saved him from hitting the car door on impact. But he said that he felt these hands on him, guiding him exactly what position he needed to be in for the least amount of damage. And he didn't have a single broken bone or anything. I mean, his car, the pictures of it was just
It was
horrific.
totaled.
Yeah.
And he was completely felt peace through the whole thing.
Yeah, he felt like he knew that everything was going to be fine. And there was that presence around him. A really beautiful story.
All righty. Close your eyes and invoke the presence. The presence. We exist within the infinite field of the divine presence. We're made of divine stuff. And the divine fully dwells within you. Pure love. There's no judgment. There's no condemnation. There's no separation. There's no distance between you and the divine at all, because you're inside the divine and the divine's inside of you, and it loves you and wants to bless you with exactly what you need to be awakened, to be transformed, to be healed. So just open yourself, close your eyes, open your heart, and drink in the divine presence that is flowing to you tonight through the Flowering Heart Blessing. Breathe it in. Soak it up. Receive, receive. That's all there is for you to do, is just allow and receive and drink it in. you could open your eyes and begin to make direct eye contact with Suzanne and or me. Just keep gazing in at least one of our eyes as we dive into the light meditation. Suzanne and I are flooded with divine grace, and it pours through our whole being to you, especially through our eyes. Mystics have called the eyes the doorways of the soul. The divine light, love, grace, shine through our eyes into your eyes. travels with you. Now keep meditating as long as you like. And or lie in Shavasana. That's a yoga pose which is so easy. You just find a comfortable place to lie down on your back with your eyes closed, your arms loosely at your sides with your palms open, facing upward, and just dissolve in the presence in gratitude. We love you very much.
Much love, light, and blessings.
Until we meet again, know that the divine within us beholds the divine in you, and we bow to you. Namaste.
Namaste.